Here we go. We've got an emergency broadcast. Today is a PSA. Today is the beginning of the end, Ethan. The beginning of the end.
Say it like that.
World War III is here. Welcome to it. We weren't alive during the first two, but here we are for the third. They've been saying it for a long time now. They've been saying, World War III will be the last war. That there won't be a World War IV because everybody's going to blow each other up in the third one. I don't think that's true. And I was the one that said I thought that if there is a World War III, that it would most likely be fought digitally or like with bioweapons or whatever it might be, which I think still probably true. But here we are. Russia invaded Ukraine. Putin is given zero fucks about everybody over there.
Nope.
He's taking back what he thinks is rightfully his. And, from an outsider looking in, just an average Joe over here from America, trying to build back the USSR. Right?
Yeah.
So, listen, you got a lot of people saying this is not good. This is World War III. This is bad. Here's a way I look at it. When the pandemic happened, when it was like, for sure a pandemic, and I believe the date is March 12th, when it was like, it is a pandemic, worldwide pandemic. Stock market bottomed out. Crypto bottomed out. I'm talking like, was kind of here, and then everything just hit lows for like the foreseeable future, right? Now, since that time, it's went up kind of gradually. So I was thinking, okay, so when Putin invades Ukraine, which is going to happen, I was thinking this like 2 weeks ago. When it happens, you got to be ready to look at the market because the market's probably going to do the same thing this time, right? Worldwide event, war. If you look at the stock market through Vietnam, through Afghanistan, through Iraq, all this stuff, literally every war has done the same thing. Dude, so this morning I wake up thinking, all right, they invaded. Stock market's not even going to move today. It's just going to go down and go down and go down. And then probably tomorrow kind of plateau. And then over the next few weeks, slowly go up. That thing just went up. Like, people are confident in America right now. I don't know why, that we're strong and stable. So that was my takeaway from the whole thing. I was trying to play the market. I've been waiting all day. I had a number in mind that I wanted certain cryptos to hit. And if they hit that number, I was going to buy in, hoping to sell within the next 2 weeks or so when it rebounds. But they never went down. They kept going up. So I don't know if I just missed it, if it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know what happened there, but Bitcoin went from like 34K back close to 40. Ethereum was at like 23 and it's like pushing 27. This is all today. And then Cardano was at like 71 and it's like upwards of like 85 cents. So I don't know. I try to think I know what I'm doing, but at the end of the day, it's always going to do the opposite thing that I think is going to happen probably anyways. But what do you think about this whole war?
Oh, man. Well, I woke up today. I've had a bout of food poisoning, so I was already having a terrible night. Woke up in the middle of the night and just was shivering. It was fun. It's so fun.
The worst.
But I woke up at 4 o'clock, went to use the restroom. Just I wasn't gonna go back to sleep anyway.
Right.
So I grabbed my phone, went into the bathroom, sat down, started scrolling Twitter. And man, 4 o'clock was right about the right time to start scrolling to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not good. It's really not good. They've been saying that Russia's already bombed things on the western side of Ukraine as far as tactically. I mean, if you're going to invade somewhere, you want to make sure you've got your forces, hitting them in the front, but then you also don't want backup to be coming in and draining your forces, so you hit them in the back.
Yeah.
And yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. I was expecting World War III to be more cyber or bioweapons or a little bit more. I expected it to be different. And if this is the start of World War III, then it's the everything that we've seen already. It's nothing different. However, there have been cyber attacks on Ukraine, their internet, I think their banking systems
By
stuff like
Russia,
that.
correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people coming out and talking about this, and it's one of those things where I think everyone it took everyone by surprise, even the people that were following the situation, because they were like, Putin wouldn't do this. He invaded the two territories that he claimed were independent from Ukraine, and I mean that's when he did that, I was like, oh, he's just gonna come in and then take the entirety of the country. He's not gonna just stop at two territories.
Right.
And I mean, it's one of those things where it's not just the last 6 months that we have to look at. This has been building since 2014 when Crimea was annexed. The Ukraine never joined NATO because Russia was threatening them with, if you join NATO, that means we're surrounded. We don't want to be surrounded. We're not going to allow that.
Right.
And so Ukraine kind of bounced back and forth between like, oh, are we a Western power? Are we an Eastern power with Russia? Blah 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 blah. There was a president that was Russian leaning that got literally displaced, and then a Western president came in. It's very, very complicated. It's geopolitics. There's nothing easy about geopolitics, but the thing that just keeps racking in my brain is in the 2000s for Bush. What was it? Something happened in the Bush era that Russia did, and it was very similar. And then 2014, Crimea gets annexed. 2016 to 2020, nothing happens. And then 2021, 2022, Russia invades Ukraine. There's a pattern there. And for all the people that think, Trump was a bad president, sure, whatever. That's your own stupid opinion. But at the very least, he kept Putin at bay, because nobody knew what Trump was going to do. He was the wild card. And Putin wasn't sure what he was working with, wasn't sure what was going to happen if he invaded Ukraine. So he bowed his time and he sat back and waited. And look where we are now. We have Joe Biden, who has ties to Ukraine that have been confirmed. And now we are sitting on a time where Joe Biden is letting Ukraine get taken over by Russia. Now, again, I don't want a war, because that means I get drafted. But at the same time, the fact that Russia is just getting to do whatever the frick it wants is not okay. Like, say what you will about Putin, he's just doing what he thinks is best for his country. He's doing what's in his best interest, obviously, as the dictator of Russia, let's be honest here.
Yeah.
He's doing what's in his best interest. Why are we letting that be in his best interest? We're just sanctioning him and doing. There's political theater happening, but there's no action, and Putin is the one making action to happen. He's the one taking action, and so at this point, we're sitting back as the U.S. all the way across the world, and people are saying, "Oh, we should do something. Oh, we shouldn't do anything." Blah 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 blah. And I'm kind of torn in the middle, because I don't think this should happen. I don't think we should let it happen, because this isn't. The more that happens with Russia, the more China gets the balls to do something. And it even came out today. The Chinese media leaked something early that they weren't supposed to. And it was their coverage of Ukraine and the Russian invasion. And something got said that was like the Taiwan should look at this and understand that is in their future. And if China tries to take Taiwan, that's a whole nother problem that we really don't want, because Taiwan is more of a asset to the United States than Ukraine is. And just letting Russia do this just gives China free rein to do whatever they want. And if they both do it at the same time, we're fighting a war on two fronts, and that's not okay.
So I was trying to listen to a few podcasts before I came on to the show because I knew this was probably going to be the vocal point. And this is what we was going to be talking about. Patrick Bet-David had an interesting take about this. He thought, and I don't necessarily disagree with him, that today was Biden's strongest press conference as far as acting, I guess, as leader. Not the teleprompter speech, but answering the questions. He thought that was the best that he's answered questions thus far from the press, that made America look halfway decently strong. And he says America would agree due to the way the stock market reacted after Biden's presser. These sanctions, I think, do affect Putin and Russia in the long run, right? Because obviously you have to have a strong economically country on a financial basis, but they're throwing bombs around right now, right? They're dropping bombs from helicopters, dropping bombs from bombers, boots on the ground, tanks. I mean, they're taking over Chernobyl, there's going to be radiation in the air. You got Ukraine, which I believe is the number one distributor of uranium. Is that correct? I think.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so that, uranium goes into nuclear weapons. Russia has nuclear weapons or nuclear power. China has nuclear weapons or nuclear power. You look at North Korea, they got nuclear weapons or nuclear power. And then you got the United States, which is a nuclear power. I would say we're probably the strongest. But then again, you've got China, Russia, and North Korea who could all kind of be in cahoots together. And that's not really a good thing. Now, you've got the other 2/3 of the nations that are on our side, right? But a bunch of those are just little small guys that all add up to a really big thing because we are the most powerful force in modern age. I mean, we're the greatest dynasty to ever set foot on the planet so far, the American dynasty. But I don't know, man. It'd be interesting to see how this kind of shakes out. I don't want to say too much prior to knowing a little bit more, but it's really strange to be able to look on Twitter and to get live footage or, as close to live as possible, pretty fresh footage of actual war. I saw a video of it was like a fighter jet, Russian fighter jet coming into Ukraine. I guess he comes within, their air defense systems or whatever. He drops a couple bombs, and then I guess he knows how close he is to the air defense systems. So as soon as he drops the bombs, he hits like a very strong left turn, and he's just getting lit up by this automatic weapon that's shooting through the sky. But he's just out of range. He gets clipped a couple times, and he just out of range. Then he kind of just outruns the weapon and takes off again. And it was like, dude, am I watching Top Gun 2 right now? Or am I watching a real war? And it's like, you're watching a real war. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know that obviously the United States doesn't want to get involved as far as boots on the ground and resources that way, but we'll see. Biden is in a good spot here to turn around all the mistakes thus far. He can kind of fix this. I don't think that anybody, whether you're on the left or the right, is a fan of war. So obviously, if he can keep us out of war, keep America looking strong, and as the leader, kind of keep moving us along that way, he's got a chance to kind of change some opinions, change some people over to his side. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to bash him on his decisions until he actually makes them. Now, the one thing that happened in the Q&A at the end of the press conference that kind of stood out, he was asked a question about China and China, him talking to China or China helping or something along those lines. And it was the only question that he didn't answer. And he just said, I'm not prepared to answer that question. So that's why are you not prepared to answer a question about China potentially being an ally or helping? That's a little bit of a red flag. I don't know. That's kind of strange to me. But other than that, everything else he answered was actually decent. He actually had a good exchange with the guy from Fox News, and
Are you sure about that?
I mean, what do you mean?
He didn't respond at all to the guy from Fox News.
He did.
He didn't.
What do you mean? He answered his question.
He didn't.
Which
the press conference today, he literally just sat there, crossed his arms, and just like moved his hand around his mouth. He was like this when Peter Doocy asked if he underestimated Putin. He didn't answer.
Well, he asked other questions.
Oh, okay. Because that was the one that pissed me off. Because like, just answer him. Like, don't be a bastard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Being a president, it's a stupid job.
Absolutely.
It's a stupid job that's impossible. It's an impossible, stupid job. It's even harder when you're 82 years old and you can barely put together a sentence, and you're having to read a teleprompter that you're squinting to even see what I need to say in this thing, man. So I'm almost over the Biden bashing. I'm almost over it. Like, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I'm trying to be more careful with my words, Ethan.
Oh, really? Wow.
Not. I'll still rant and do things like that, but I ran across a philosophy, and you should look it up. It's actually, I'll pull up the definition to it. I'm interested to even know if you've even never heard of it. Have you heard of nihilism?
Oh, nihilism? Absolutely.
So,
I live nihilistically. It's either nihilistically or stoically. Sometimes neither, but I'm working on it.
So so how would you consider, give me your definition?
Usually nihilism, on the very basic level, nihilistic thoughts are things that are out of your control. It's when people say you're being nihilistic, you're kind of giving up. You're you think, they call it the black pill is another way of saying it, of where you're just like, everything's bad. Everything's going to get worse. Nihilism. Okay. But for me, as far as nihilism is concerned, it's things that I can't change. I can't change. Things that I can change will eventually change, kind of thing. It's
okay.
That's how I see it, but maybe you think differently.
Okay. So I was listening to a podcast. It was the Iced Hour or Iced Coffee Hour pod. You know what I'm talking about. These guys just ran across it. Anyways, there's this guy on the podcast who I've actually been in conversation with his personal assistant, or his executive assistant. His name is Alex Hormozy. He's a gym owner. He's about 31 years old, 32 years old. So he's about my age, but he's in shape gym owner. And he went to Vanderbilt, smart guy, made really good grades throughout school. I think he crushed the GMAT, which is like the SAT for going into graduate school for, business. Anyways, he goes into this podcast and he's got a book out. It's like $100 million offers. I'm going through it right now. It's pretty good. But in this podcast, these guys kind of ask him about the way he thinks and his philosophies and stuff like that. Or they didn't ask him that specifically, but it got around to it. And he said that he's a nihilist. He would consider himself a nihilist. So pretty much, if you look at the philosophy here, extreme skepticism, maintaining that nothing in the world has a real existence. So the way he broke it down was, say I'm unhappy. Quit worrying about you being unhappy and quit letting you being unhappy affect you, and just figure it out. Like, if you're unhappy, nothing you're going to do right now is going to make you happy or even more unhappy. You literally just have to be happy. Like, there's some people are just not going to get this because values, morals, beliefs, culture, they're just not going to get it. They're not going to understand. I've lived my life a long time, and I think this is the closest thing to what I actually believe, like, as far as this nihilism thing. So another way of looking at it is, and it's funny that this was like an extreme Russian political viewpoint.
Yeah, it was.
Back in the day.
It was Friedrich Nietzsche, who was, I believe, a Russian philosopher.
Yes,
look it up.
You're correct. But also, it is that. Let me see here. When it comes to the belief,
German philosopher.
So, as a start, nihilism is commonly defined as the belief that life is meaningless.
Yeah.
A fuller definition would further add that nihilism is the belief that life has no objective meaning. In other words, nihilists suppose there is no single factually correct meaning to life that unites all of humanity. Ding, 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 ding. Like, dude, it really hit me.
Yeah.
And yep.
For those at home, it's not saying that, oh, life is meaningless. There is no meaning to life.
Correct.
It's not a depressive nihilism. A lot of nihilists will say there's no reason for you to get up. There's no meaning to your life that you're going to find by looking to God, looking to the government, looking to science. There's no meaning to life. Life is what you put into it. And you're not going to inherently have happiness. You have to find happiness by doing things that you want. There's no reason to do anything. So why not do whatever you want?
He made a great point, and he said that there's chains to life, and the chains are family, friends, like bosses, if you're an employer or an employee, whatever. But people are going to have a perception of everything that you do, and they're going to have a belief in their mind of what you should do to everything. And they're going to have a view in their mind of how you should react to everything and how you should think about everything. And he says that as soon as you can just stop caring about what everybody thinks, which we hear this all the time, just don't care what everybody thinks. As soon as you can stop caring what everybody thinks and just know that whatever they think doesn't matter, not because it doesn't matter currently because of what they actually think doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it literally doesn't matter because it's meaningless. Like, their thought has zero meaning to what you actually think about whatever is about to happen or just happened. Like, why should you live your life worried about what this person thinks you think about something that happened? Like, why? And it goes back to opinions. People are canceling people nowadays because of opinions. But you can only get canceled if you care. You can't get canceled if you don't care. I mean, like, Trump is not canceled. Trump doesn't care. He'll just go do his own thing.
He's the most cancelable person.
And he does, like, care. And you can't cancel somebody that won't allow themselves to get canceled.
Which reminds me, I need to check my Truth Social.
I know. Yeah. We're on Truth Social. I'm trying to get all the socials up. So back on Twitter, trying to build that back up. Yep. Rumble's up. Reddit is up.
Oh Lord.
Truth Social's about to be up.
Depending.
Parler is up. So I'm trying to now. Once we get them all in a spot, I need like a button you press that goes to all of them. I don't know. We got to figure that out.
Yeah, we got to figure that out.
But this whole nihilism thing has. I'm about to go through a whole deep dive. I haven't had a chance to yet. I mean, I'm going to do it.
Reading Nietzsche would be probably just the easiest and closest.
That's the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah, just read Nietzsche because it's his philosophy.
Yeah.
He was the quote unquote pioneer of it. And yeah, it's one of those things where, to me, again, when you first hear it, when you're thinking about it, you're like, wow, that seems harsh. Nothing matters. What's the point? It's not what's the point. It's finding the point to do things. And if you don't have a point to do things, don't do them.
Well, I'm about to pull up just some quotes from him.
Yeah.
And you talking about, he's got some of the greatest quotes of all time. Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
Literally some of the.
Who's calling?
I don't know, but they're about to get declined. So
that is not his computer. So that's partially why.
Yeah. Let's see. So a couple quotes that he has. Without music, life would be a mistake. Blah blah blah. It's not. There was some like one of his things was God is dead. That was one of his quotes. That was. Here's a good one. There are no facts, only interpretations. It's a pretty good one.
The famous Nietzsche quote is, "God is dead, God remains dead, and we have killed him."
There you go.
Sort of meaning as far as that. Well, there has never been a greater deed, and whosoever shall be born after us, for the sake of this deed, he shall be part of a higher history than all history hitherto, is the full quote. And I think, and I may be totally wrong, this is just my interpretation of Nietzsche, but what he means is by God is dead is we've become a society that we don't really need religion anymore, or we think we don't. And when he says, we've killed him, I mean, we've come to this point in our lives. And he was born in 1844, died in 1900, so it wasn't even that long ago, comparatively. But with everything happening during that time, although we didn't have either of the world wars yet, and all this and that, he was a philosopher, and he could see the future of society, especially Western society at that point, because you had the Industrial Revolution, you had America westward expansion. By 1900, all of America was quote unquote America, and so I'm sure he looked at Western society and realized that there's a lot of people that don't necessarily have God as the highest power in their lives. They don't see anything being because of God or whatever you want to say. And I mean, that's still true. I mean, we there's Christians, there's Muslims, there's Jewish people. Like there's all these people that are still religious, but society of itself, especially, I mean, you can just look at America because we live in America. I mean, we were founded among Christian principles, but does that really mean that any of the things that we do nowadays necessarily uphold those? I mean,
so buddy of mine at work, Jordan Massey, him and his, so it's Josh's brother, but him and his buddy Joel have a podcast. We'll plug their podcast real quick. The podcast is Bulletproof Faith, and they're two guys, mid to later 30s, and the idea of their podcast is to teach men, or teach mainly men, but parents, easier ways to teach their kids about God and how to live their life through God and through Christianity and through that worldview, right?
Yeah.
Like by bringing more than just one aspect of Christianity into it, like whatever. So, just giving them different ideas. They're starting to do a podcast, and they do it at the office, and it's cool, and we'll plug it. But also, like I couldn't be further away on the opposite side of what they are. And they said that I was agnostic.
I mean, yeah, I could see that.
And then I was like, well, first of all, don't put me into a box. I don't like it when people tell me what I am. Like, I don't like that, because I'll be the whatever you think I am. I'll go. I'll become a preacher. I mean, so don't tell me what I am. And I don't necessarily know that there's a box for me. and people hate this answer. I think this answer pisses more people off than saying that I am whatever they want me to be, right? And here's the answer. What are your thoughts on, use the R word, religion?
Yeah.
And I go, I don't care.
Yeah.
And they go, what do you mean you don't care? Until you just said those words, I didn't even think about it. Like, when I wake up, there might be weeks, months that go by that unless someone brings it up in conversation, it won't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
So is that a bad thing? Am I living my life preaching that you shouldn't be religious? No. Am I living my life saying that prayer doesn't work? No. Am I living my life saying that if you go to church, you're wasting your time or all that? No, I'm literally not doing any of these things. I'm just telling you, I don't care. It's like saying, hey, Gunner, do you have Netflix? Yeah, I do. Have you seen this episode? No, I don't care. I don't. And you know what? Unless I see that show pop up on my feed, I will never even know that's a show. I wouldn't even think that's a show, because I am not even searching for that genre of a show. I just don't care about it. Does that mean I hate movies? No. I mean, I hate Netflix? No. I mean, I still go there. I can have conversations with people about it. I'm not going to be very argumentative about it either. Like, I'm not going to tell you what you believe is wrong. I will ask, can you prove yourself right? And then it all comes back to faith, and that's where you lose me. Like, I don't have faith, because everything I've ever done in life that I wanted to happen didn't happen because there was faith involved. Now, you can have faith in yourself to take action to make it happen. But at the end of the day, you got to have the action part to make any of this stuff work. So, I'll also always bring up the argument, would religion still be a thing if people didn't get paid for it? I don't think so, but that's my view on it. That's my opinion. I don't think people would be telling people to go get the Bible if they didn't get paid for it. I don't think that there would be preachers wanting to be preachers if they didn't get paid for it. I mean, how else do you make a living? At the end of the day, money does talk. Money, you have to have money to do certain things. You don't have to have the money to be happy, but money can provide freedom to a certain extent, or at least get you to the next day. So that was always my view on it. But then as soon as you tell somebody that is passionate about it, that you don't care, now you have to be able to provide them information on why you don't care. Well, what do you know? What do you don't know? Tell me a little bit about your experience with it. Well, I can tell you all those things and you can try to convince me and sell me on it, but I don't care. I just don't care. And that's might be the worst religious take that you can have in America for sure.
Especially around here.
Yeah. And in the Bible Belt, right? I would probably fit in up north.
A little bit, yeah.
People would not look at me a weird way.
I mean, personally, I feel like I also have a really, really weird relationship with religion too, because I'm at this point where I'm not agnostic. I believe in God, but do I believe in Christianity as a religion? No, because I've seen too many dumb people being Christians. Do I believe in Allah, the Muslim God? No, because I've seen a lot of dumb Muslims. I've seen dumb people of all religions. So at this point, I just kind of believe in God. I guess it's a Christian God because that's what I was raised as, but I don't go to church every day. I read the Bible when it suits me. Like, oh, you know what? I have a Bible right next to my bed, and I'll just be like, oh, okay, I'll read some. But it's not something that I practice every day.
Yeah, because I don't enjoy it.
No.
It's not entertaining to me. I don't see any educational benefit to it. Now, what I will say is that I believe there's great morals and principles that come from the Bible.
Absolutely.
If we want to, get it down to one specific part of, religion, if we want to go Bible, I think that the Bible is a great self-help book.
Sure.
It's like The Richest Man in Babylon, or fill in the blank fictional self-help book. That's where I categorize it. I'm not, listen, don't attack me. I'm not.
Oh, jeez.
This
is where we get canceled a second time.
This is not to get attacked. I'm not saying what you believe is wrong. I'm just letting you know what I not even believe, the way I think. Because another thing, like the whole nihilism, beliefs, like belief statements, or just that, like that's just like your opinion. That's a belief statement.
Yeah.
Like if you go to cultures, he made a good point. He goes, think about this: 40-year-old man has sex with a 15-year-old girl. Good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. Now, 400 years ago, 40-year-old man has sex with 15-year-old girl. Normal.
Yeah. Back then it was.
So today, that would be a trauma. You'd go to prison. It'd be all over the news. You'd be looked at as a rapist or a sex offender or whatever it might be. 400 years ago, you could just been homie next door or king.
Yeah.
Because there was no, the cultural norms, there was no, you got to be 18 to be treated as an adult, or or whatever it might be. So that was just normal. Take it back a few thousand years prior to that. Today, walking down the street, two people are naked. Good or bad?
I mean, it depends on where they're at. I mean, if it's a nudist colony, why not?
Normally
bad.
Ringgold Road.
Normally bad.
If a cop pulls up, could you go to jail?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
It's against the law.
A couple thousand years ago, walking down the road naked.
They must have forgotten their loincloth at home.
Probably normal, depending on which parts of the world you're in.
Yeah.
Probably normal. So it just depends on like what your culture is. Even currently, right now, say, what's something that would be bad, I guess, in like a different...
homosexuality.
Perfect example.
It's all culture.
Being gay in the States.
Nobody cares.
Cool. Being gay in Russia.
They actually don't really care. I was thinking more Middle East.
Okay. Being gay in...
Iran.
Yeah, Iran.
Not a good thing. Probably shouldn't tell people about that.
Okay. So, like, you're probably going to have a traumatic experience depending on where you actually live.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's bring it back to the religious idea. Say you're a Christian, but, you're a Christian from 400 years ago, and you're a 40-year-old male Christian, and you got a 15-year-old side piece over here that you hook up with, right? But you've done everything right your entire life. Other than just the typical sins, you've done it all. You've done everything you're supposed to do.
Typical sins.
Yeah, everything you're supposed to do to get to the promised land. And there's no rule saying you can't do what you're doing with that 15-year-old. You're probably going to heaven, right?
I think that's true, but
how?
I see where
What do you
you're
mean?
coming from. One, if it's a 15-year-old that you're not married to, that's
okay.
sex out of
You're married to a
but-
15-year-old.
Yeah, I get where you're going. Yeah, no, that's very true.
Okay, so you're going to heaven. 400 years later, currently, you're a 40-year-old male. You've done everything that you could possibly do right. You've been to church every Sunday. You go on Wednesdays. You give money. You give to the Boys and Girls Club. You do everything. You've never been late to work. You wake up early. You brush your teeth. You got some kids. You make sure they're fed. You got a roof over your head. Done everything right. Everything in the world you have done completely right. Now, I'm being extreme here. You've done everything right, but this is how you make a point. 40-year-old male, you want to marry a 15-year-old. So you try to go marry him. And now, people say you're not allowed to do that. It's no. So you're going to the bad place. So you've done everything right. 99% right. And you did one thing that they did 400 years ago that was considered okay. But God's going to tell you that's bad and you're going to the bad place? Now because he's just living off of cultural norms? Is that how it works? So that's the confusing part to me. So if somebody can clear that up, then we can go somewhere, we can proceed with this conversation. As far as, like, I've always said, if somebody can tell me what the blueprint is to get to heaven, I'll get there. But if you're just giving me a bunch of wishy-washy stuff and I got to kind of hope and pray and just kind of, just kind of figure it out by myself, and then depending on how God's feeling in that specific time frame of culture, I don't do something the wrong way, he might let me in. That just doesn't, that doesn't go, that's not how I do things. So I believe it's all meaningless. And I think I'm on the whole nihilism train. Now, I was also seeing where a bunch of people that are nihilist are also agnostic, because I guess when you're agnostic, it is you believe there's a God, but you don't. But
there's no. So a lot of agnostics will just say, "There's no way for me to know," but there's also no way for me to disprove.
Okay.
So I don't know. a lot of agnostics just say that there's no way for them to know. So how could they make a decision for themselves?
Agnostic, a person who believes that nothing is known or can be known of the existence or nature of God or of anything beyond material phenomena. A person who claims neither faith nor disbelief in God.
Yeah.
So okay.
Okay, maybe I am agnostic.
But it's not that I don't claim faith nor disbelieve, because I don't. I guess you could put me in it's not like that I do believe, but I don't not believe. So
that's what it means.
That's kind of what that means. But also, I would think being agnostic means you care.
No, agnostic is it doesn't have anything to do with caring or not caring. It's I don't know, therefore what am I to say about it? So if you don't know, the speed of light, you don't care about knowing the speed of light. You just don't know it. You're right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess here's the way I look at it. You get one life, and you probably get 80 years, roughly. It's the average, right? So we are 11 people removed from 1,000 years ago. People claim that this is year 2022. So we're 24 generations removed from the, BC AD, the zero.
I would actually like double that, because just because 80 times 11 would mean 1,000 doesn't mean that people lived to 80 even 100 years ago.
Okay, so
I'd say 17, 18 generations. Sorry.
Okay, so wait a minute. I said
I'm just being technical.
Well, people lived average. We don't really know what the average age was because we weren't around back then, and we don't know that it was being recorded. I will say that people also lived to old age throughout history.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people in the Bible
evidently lived 200, 300 years.
Of years. Died and came back.
Well, just the one guy.
Listen,
well, two guys.
Hey, man. I take it as is. It as is. It's just not one of my things. So I'll also say this: I'm a seer. I like to believe things. You show me,
yeah,
and I can get behind it. Then the people will be like, All right. Look at everything you're seeing. All right, I am. How'd it get here? Somebody made it? Exactly. How do you think the universe got here? I don't know. Somebody made it. Who made it?
When it comes
God.
to that, I think as far as my opinion is, there's no way for our small brains to comprehend literally anything bigger than the 300 square feet around you at this current time. Like, there's no way for you to. We have the Big Bang Theory. We think that's what's true, but there's literally no way for us to know. And that's where nihilism comes in. You can't know that for sure. You can't know anything other than what's in your own brain.
And that's why I think I'm leaning that way now.
Yeah.
Because just because we say something is something doesn't mean that it is. It's literally something because we just said it was that.
Yeah.
I'll go back to this. Language, mathematics, all that is man-made.
Well, math is the human interpretation of just the world.
Yes.
Numbers are made up.
And the word math was made up.
Yes.
After they made numbers.
Yeah.
So, like, what came first, chicken or the egg?
It would have to be an egg.
Would it?
It would actually, yeah.
See, I believe that people of the Christian faith would say it was a chicken.
Well, yeah.
Because chicken be God. And he had a bunch of babies, right?
Yeah.
But could it not be both?
I mean, yeah.
And if the egg came first, wouldn't it be the chicken actually?
If the egg came first, so that's the whole.
Isn't the egg the chicken?
Question. No.
How?
Well, I mean,
what comes out of the egg?
It could be anything. Lots of things come out of eggs.
I guess you're right. Touche, but good point.
If you're going by evolutionary standpoint, eggs come first, because that's just how things were able to lay eggs on land.
Okay.
Outside of the water.
Gotcha.
And then eventually, whatever came out of those eggs eventually evolved from dinosaurs down to smaller reptiles, into birds, into chickens. That's the evolutionary standpoint. Creationists say, obviously, God made chickens.
Mm-hmm.
He just made they just came out of nowhere.
City.
Well, in the Garden of Eden, he makes all of man, or all of the creatures of the world, creates man, and creates from man's ribcage Eve, and then yada yada yada. But evolution at this point is not proven, because we can't know, because nobody's been alive long enough to see evolution happen. But
thank you. I love this argument too, and I even use this one. Do you believe in evolution? And I go, I don't know. I don't care. Like, I don't know really. Like, yeah. I think it's more interesting than maybe the Bible and all that. But do I believe in evolution? I don't know. If I did, the way I would debunk the evolution, if I believed in it myself very hard, would say, if we evolved from monkeys, well, fuck, we still got monkeys.
Well, I can give you the answer if you want it.
What is it?
Because we didn't come from monkeys. Monkeys and us came from the same thing. Diverging paths.
Okay.
But that's, at the same time, I mean, if we did come from monkeys, we came from a single or a pair of monkeys that had an evolutionary trait that gave us lighter skin, less hair, and eventually monkeys stayed here because they didn't mutate, and then the mutations from the humans go another way, but still diverging paths.
Listen, I mean, we like share DNA with
potatoes,
dolphins,
bananas.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of people that make a lot of money searching for this answer their entire life, and they never get the answer and they die. I don't know where they go, but they went somewhere. My belief or my opinion, or the way I think about the matter is, I don't care about it. But I also don't care what other people think. And I hope they just believe what they believe. It allows them to live their life the way they want to live their life, to support their families. They want to support their families, to do podcasts the way they want to do podcasts. And that's it. I don't care. I want to make as much money as I can humanly make while I'm breathing air on this planet. And I want to take care of my family. And I want to be surrounded by people that I love, and I want to help people along the way. And that's what I want to do. And I don't care about trying to fit in to the cultural norm of the decade, because whatever we consider normal right now, I don't want to guarantee. I don't want to put a Gunner guarantee on it. But I could almost Gunner guarantee that if you're listening to this transmission in the year of 3000, culture has changed. So you nerds at home that have figured out a way to hack into these old dinosaur fossilized hard drives called Macintoshes, and you're listening to this transmission, year 3000, you're gonna go, this guy's like fucking Einstein. How do you know all this? Because culture's gonna change. Literally, something's gonna pop off. What, 1991, was there the internet?
Yes.
Was there?
Yeah. There was the internet.
Who used it?
A lot of people, actually.
In 1991.
In 91, there was enough internet that was in public usage.
Okay, 1981.
No internet.
No internet. 1985.
A little internet for military purposes.
1983.
Internet starting, people figuring it out.
Okay, so 1981.
I don't know the numbers specifically, but that's the kind of, yeah.
Okay, it's fine.
That's the timeline.
1981, there was no internet, as in like did not exist. Wasn't even a thought. Maybe a thought, but did not exist. 40 years later, everything that we do as a empire, as a country, as a nation, as a planet, everything that we do involves the internet. Just think about that. So what's going to come along within the next 40 years that is going to change our culture? Because I can promise you that the culture of 1981 and 2022 is much drastic. Obviously, it's a lot closer than what the culture was in 225, right? But nowhere near what it is in 2022. So in 2080, what's the culture going to be like? So that's 60 years. I mean, I could see that potentially at 90 years old or whatever it is. Yeah. There's a chance that in 2080, I'm going to see that.
It's all dependent on if cultural stagnation is actually a thing.
As in, like, if culture just stays the same?
Yeah, because that's the problem we're having right now is our culture hasn't really changed since the 70s.
You don't think so?
I mean, it's obviously changed, but it hasn't made great leaps forward in a way that cultures in the past have. Mostly because of technology.
Okay. Well, so we're stuck, though. We're stuck in the internet.
Yeah.
Like, the internet is kind of as far as we've
until we
gotten.
have the Internet 3, which we're on Internet 2 right now.
Okay.
Unless we get Internet 3 within the next 20 years, yeah, we're going to be stuck. Because there's no... We've milked this and we've wrung the tower out and gotten all the water out.
Would you consider Internet 2 to be AI?
No. Internet 2 is what we have. Internet 3 is more expansive, being able to be there. That sort of thing.
So AI.
Metaverse.
Virtual reality, metaverse.
Sort of, yeah.
So you got a lot of people that are, I could say segue. You got a lot of people that are bashing the metaverse.
I mean, I will openly bash the metaverse right here, right now.
Okay, so hang on
I've
now.
done it before.
Hang on. So bashing the metaverse because they don't understand it.
Yep.
Bashing cryptocurrencies, digital currencies because they don't understand it. Bashing NFTs because
The easiest.
they don't understand it. These are the same people that probably bashed the internet because they didn't understand it.
Yep.
So my point here, if we're going to take another leap for mankind here, and we got to advance our technology. And we think that it's going to be the metaverse because you have to be able to go somewhere with your technology at any time, any place, anywhere, blah, blah, blah. And kids are growing up these days. That's all they know. Is that going to push us forward as a group? Or would that keep us back? Because the internet allowed us to advance like our physical assets, our physical well-being. Like, when I'm not saying this correctly, it's like the internet allowed us to have transactions faster. The internet allowed us to have more friends. The internet allowed us to meet more people. The internet allowed us to be everywhere all the time. That's our slogan at 12 Point, everywhere all the time. Like, to be everywhere all the time, because as long as you have an internet connection, you can talk to that person, see that person, know what they're doing, keep up with them, right? Now, the metaverse is going to allow you, correct me if I'm wrong, I literally have no clue. The metaverse is going to allow you to, depending on what map you're in, and I'm assuming these maps are going to be considered like websites. Like, that's how I'm trying to compare it. What a map would be, what a virtual world would be like going to a domain. They're going to call them maps. And then you go into this map and people are going to be able to buy up real estate in this map because that map might only have so many slots to build upon. So if you're looking at it from like a stock perspective, there's only so many stocks you can buy because the market share is only so much. So there's only so much to trade upon. So say this map has 1,000 plots of virtual land. There's always going to be 1,000 plots of virtual land. So the key there is to buy it now when people don't think it's a big deal. And then hopefully in 15 years, it is a massive deal and everyone wants that one plot of land. Kind of like if you would have just bought Walmart.com when the internet started in 1982, according to Ethan, that Walmart would have bought Walmart.com from you because they want that domain. So that's kind of my interpretation, the way I break down like the metaverse. If that's what you want, I guess you'll be able to put virtual reality glasses on, step into one of these domains, one of these maps, and depending on which companies, like say I know Disney's getting into NFTs and into the space, Walmart, Amazon, all these big companies that sell things are going to now sell things through the marketplace, which is NFTs, through this land. And like, am I going to be able to be like, hey, Ethan, meet me over at the Walmart in Sandbox? Is that how this is going to go?
For the metaverse, yes. So I looked it up. The differences between Web 2.0 and Web 3.0. 1.0 was the original internet, and that was just connecting people and information.
Like emails,
being able to access information across the world, very basic websites that would contain, the classic like 90s, like you have links and you click the link to read this article about blah, 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 blah. Web 2.0 was more of user-friendly access to other people.
Okay.
AOL was part of 1.0, but really didn't take off until 2.0. Social media is obviously 2.0. Commerce, Amazon, eBay, all of the online websites. Access to things and people is 2.0. They're saying that Web 3.0 is more about decentralization and breaking out of government control and being open to everyone. Open source code, open source accessibility, decentralization. I think they call it permissionless and trustless. You don't have to go through a third party to access somebody else. You don't have to go through, instant messenger. You don't have to go through iMessage or anything like that. You just contact that person. 3.0 also does have, you were right, have some things to do with AI and machine learning to solidify that process. Instead of making it more difficult, it'll make it easier to do whatever you want on Web 3.0. As far as the metaverse is concerned, though, and we've had this conversation before, and this is what I'll say again, until we all kind of agree on what we're doing as far as the metaverse is concerned, whether that be Meta itself has the metaverse or Disney, it will have to be either an open source place for people to go, or some conglomerate like Amazon or Facebook, now Meta, will start something up and everyone flocks there. Until that happens, you're going to have too many people doing their own thing. As far as like crypto and NFTs, the whole problem with the crypto market right now is there's so many cryptos. People are making knockoffs of Dogecoin, and Dogecoin was a knockoff of something else.
So altcoins
that they're, until we all kind of agree on something, then we're not really going to get anywhere. Because, again, going back to what you were saying, if you buy a plot of land, you're just going to hope, you buy a plot of land in Metaverse, you're going to hope that's where everyone else is in 10 years. Because otherwise, you've wasted the money and you wasted the opportunity. Because you put your eggs in the wrong basket,
Yeah, so I had somebody try to explain the virtual real estate to me, and I'm an easy sell. Like if you show me a way to make money, I'm an easy sell, right? Now, here's what I will do that people might not do. And Ethan knows I do this. I will bounce an idea off someone without them knowing I'm bouncing an idea off of them. So what I'll do is I'll tell you what I want it. Like I'll tell you what I want you to think I want to do. And I'll just say it as in we're doing it. Like I'll be like for example, I text Ethan the other day. I just wanted to know what he knew about this space. I know he's more into it than I am. I was just like, hey, let's buy some NFTs. And he was like, wait a minute. But if I'd asked him like, hey, man, what's an NFT? You're going to get like a broad answer. But if I go, hey, let's create an NFT, start an NFT. Like he's going to tell me what he really thinks about it before we go to try to create an NFT, right? And he's going to let me know whether he thinks good or bad. But I'm going to do that to like 10 different people. And then I'm going to get everybody's different viewpoint. And then I'll make a decision on whether or not I want to buy an NFT or create an NFT or whatever it is I want to do.
Buying and creating are two very different things.
Very different, two different things. And to be completely transparent, I haven't done enough research to feel confident in what I want to buy. I don't know how it will work when I do buy it. I understand. I get what it is. It's like collectibles. It's kind of if I had to compare it to something, I would compare it to collectibles.
But are you buying a 1981 G.I. Joe or are you buying a Beanie Baby?
Yeah, exactly.
That is a very, very apt comparison.
Are you buying like even if you look at like cards, like different rookie cards of the same player by different brands have different values. So like,
I gotta tell you, you sent me a picture of that Team Tebow card you bought, right?
Yeah. I
showed it to Chris and he was like, Jesus Christ. He was like, how much did you pay for that? And I was like, I don't even know. But I told him what it was. He was like, wow.
Isn't it cool? Like, dude,
yeah.
So there's 5. You saw where it says 5,
One
right?
of 5, yeah.
1 of 5. Jim meant 10. As in, perfect condition. There's only 5 on the planet. I have one of them. You could say, well, they're going for no. Unless you talk to me and the other 4 people that got these, they're going for whatever the fuck we want them to go for.
Exactly.
You know,
and that is kind of how NFTs work.
That is how NFTs work. That's how everything works. First of all, if you want to get to business and talk about so market shares, here's an example. So I'm in logistics. If you listen to this for half a second, you know, but like freight brokers in logistics, I'm pretty sure that there's like, I don't know, call it 20,000 freight brokers roughly. Oh, if it's an easy, I don't know why I'm trying to come up with numbers. So let's just do freight brokerage market share. So you go to freight brokerage market share, freight brokerage market size according to verified market research. It's pulling up real quick. So what I'm trying to get to, I'm going to try to give you an idea of like what. Okay, so the U.S. freight brokerage market size was valued at $1.164 billion in 2020 and is projected to reach $13.78 billion by 2028. So, just to dumb it down, a very good industry to be in because the growth is going to 13x within the next 8 years in a prediction. But $1.16 billion industry just from freight brokers. So now you're going to do 1.16 billion divided by 20,000. That's what it could be if everybody got the same amount of market share, but they don't. You got to look at our company last year did $17 million. So $17 million divided into 1.164 billion is not even 1% of the market share of the freight brokerage industry. Okay. So we're making a living. There's 15 people at our company that is able to support their families and make a good living and make good money. And we're not even 1% of the total market of that industry. Now, at 1 of 5, I own, roughly 20% of the entire market share of that Tim Tebow card. So I can pretty much charge what I want to for it. Now, what's even cooler is if you had a presence. So say I have, or Ethan and I have millions of viewers. Say I have rock-like viewers. And this is how easy it is to inflate a price. You have rock-like viewers. You buy that 1 of 5 Tim Tebow card. You reach out to all your other followers and you go, I'm looking for the other 4 people that own this card or the other 4 of these cards. All right. You look out for them. You try to buy them from whoever. You try to consolidate them. Now, if you get all 5, you control the market. But what you would really want is to get 3 or 2. Because then the person that has 3 is going to be able to control that market. So say you and your buddy get together. Say I know Ethan, and I know Ethan's got one of the other cards. I've got one of the cards. So we're going to go out and we're going to buy the other 3 cards. But I'm going to give him 2 of them. I'm going to keep 1. And now we're going to start a public war online, in quotations, air quotes, public war of what the price of this card really is. Well, say we get it up to $1 million and there's a transaction of $1 million that is pretty much laundered between Ethan and I to show that this card went for $1 million on eBay, even though it maybe I actually did transact $1 million, but it's our $1 million. Well, now we just raised the market share on that card, and whoever ever wants to get that card is going to have to pay us somewhere in the market of what we think that card is worth, because there's only 5 of them. We have a bunch of followers, and we decided that card is worth X amount of money. And if you want this card that this person with a bunch of followers has, that's decided that this is really cool for a, just for your purpose, just to feel cool and to get it and to flex on people. And you spend $1 million for that card. Well, now that card really just sold for $1 million. So now the value of that card just went up. The value of the other 4 cards just went up. So if anybody else wants to buy it, they're going to have to pay more than $1 million because that's the current market for that card. That is the stock market broken down in a dumb sense for simple people. There's only so many stocks that you can buy. There's only so many houses you can buy. There's only so many plot of land you can buy. There's only so much space on this planet. So prices are going to continue to go up just based on whoever has it, what they think it's worth, and how many people they're willing to tell that it's worth that to convince them that is what it's worth so that they can pay you somewhere near what you think it's worth. And then the next person is going to do that. The next person is going to do that. And so on and so on. So that's pretty much, cards can give you an idea of how the world works. Vegas Dave literally made a Mike Trout card worth $4 million because he has a bunch of followers. He had the capital to buy up all the cards. And then he decided what it was going to be and held out until somebody decided to buy that from him. And I can promise you're not going to get $4 million for it the second time you buy it because it's really not worth that. That was a fugazi, it's a woozy, it's a wazi. Anything else we got? What else we got in the world?
Nothing really.
Yeah, I mean,
it's basically all just Ukraine right now.
You know, and listen, here we go. We're getting to this is going to be another time frame of the podcast that I'm not going to let this happen. It's going to be a one and done on this topic. And here's why. During the whole Trump presidency deal, we spent so much time on the fear mongering of COVID and the pandemic and vaccines and masks and all this shit. Like, we just spent so much time on it. And it literally burnt me out, the politics. I remember we talked about it so much.
Yeah.
Then one day I came in here, I was like, I just can't take it. And I can't talk about it anymore. And it got boring. So it got boring. So what they had to do, they had to bring in a war. So here's this war that's about to happen. Now people are going to start calling it World War III. All you're going to hear about, remove the media. If you could get away from the media ever, if there could ever be a time for you not to focus on the media, now is that time. Don't worry about being caught up and being able to say exactly what happened in Ukraine or what Putin said or how Biden responded or what Jen Psaki said or how Tucker Carlson responded or what CNN said about Fox News or who came on Rogan's show to talk about exactly what we're talking about right now. If you could remove all that and just dive into assets, focusing on how to make a dollar, how to turn $1 to $10, what skill sets do I need in order to make $1 to turn $1 into $10? Like, if people would just, that's what I'm doing. I'm about to just back to tunnel vision gunner. I'm about to zone in to how to make money during global crises, because that's when people make money. During war, people make money we have wars for money. People that are smart make money during wars. People that don't make money during wars are people that freak out, right? People that are having to deal with the propaganda, people that are listening to the news, people that are listening to the media, the people that are reading newspapers, clicking on the article, listening to the clickbait, in social media, arguing with people about their side's right, your side's wrong, my culture's right, your culture's wrong, my values are right, your values are wrong, right? That's all about to happen right now. Republican, Democrat, Christians, Muslims, black, white, gay, straight, man, woman. Like, this is where we're at. Everybody's diving into their teams, picking their sides, and they're going to go with it, right? I'm going to realize this flag's not going anywhere during my time. During my time on Earth, this is going to be the thing that is strong, right? The flag behind me. Now, what this flag means is completely different now than what this flag meant when they put it together. The definition remains the same, but the idea that surrounds it is completely different. So, don't worry about that, because the way I view the flag and the way you view the flag might be completely different. But it's blue, it's white, it's red, it's got stars, a square, some triangles, some squares, some rectangles, some stripes. You know, it can be crinkled, it can be flat. But it's just came from a tree, right? It's just a flag. They just made it. Not really a big deal. So it's gonna be there for a while. Looks cool. Every country's got one. Just because we're from America doesn't mean that our flag is the best. It just means that's the team we cheer for. That's our colors. That's our brand. The American flag is a brand of the country of America, our government. Okay, let's keep that all in mind. What skills can we learn? Can we learn how to sell? Can we learn how to market? Can we learn how to write a little better, talk a little better, public speaking, different phases, the life cycle of a business? Can we learn these things? If you're on the other side of the spectrum, like from the technology side, like, do you know how to code? Do you know how to grow a business online, SEOs, website development? Do you know how to produce things? Do you know how to create things? Do you know how to put together graphic designs? Do you know how to do all this stuff? Can we monetize that? How much is that worth? Okay. I don't know, man. I'm not going to let the fear hit me again within 3 years or whatever it is. Like 2020 was a waste of my time. Literally a waste of my time. Everything that I read, stock up on this, stock up on that. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. All I can control is literally what I do with my hands. Like, grab this mouse, press that button. Like, that's about as much as my keys. I can pick my keys up. I can put them in my pocket so I don't lose them. But I got to remember I put them there. Like my phone here, I can look at my phone. I can decide who to text, who to call, who to follow, how to respond, what to look at. I can do those things. I literally have zero control over who bombs who, over what, over other businesses, over your thoughts, your beliefs, your religion, your morals, your culture. I have zero control over any of that. The only person that does is you. You can decide to let someone else persuade you into believing a certain thing. That's on you. Just like I can decide to let certain things persuade me into believing what I believe. I can't. All I'm saying is live your life. I know it's simple and it's stupid. And it's so naive to think that that's the way to, like, that's the cheat code. But I think it is. Live the life you want to live. Live it how you want to live it. Do what you want to do with the right intentions, right? I'm not saying go kill somebody because you can. Just live life with the right intentions. Try to help people. Try to be nice to people. I think it goes down to this. Treat people the way you want to be treated, right? It's so simple. We tell kids this at a young age. We've been told this at a young age. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Do you want people to just randomly come up and talk to you? If you do, go up and start talking to people, right? If you don't. If you want people to open the door for you when you come into a business, or when you come in to eat at a restaurant, or if you're walking through a door, open the door for them. If you don't care that people don't open the doors for you, don't open the door for them. If you want to go 5 miles per hour over the speed limit to get somewhere a little bit faster, do it. If you want to go exactly the speed limit, do that. Really doesn't matter. Now there are rules and laws. I'm not saying that there's not those things. So I would treat life as a game. And in life, during this game, we have to play by the rules that are happening during the time that your heart is beating. Those rules are going to change. They're forever changing. The game is, can you figure out what the rules are? And can you figure out how to play the highest level during the time that your heart is beating on this planet and play within the rules, but also win. I think when you start thinking that way, we can start changing our thought process. And I hate to be greedy and turn everything into money and business, but that's the only way to be free. Like, freedom comes with finances. Unless you're off the grid and you're self-sustaining. That's as good as being financially free, if that's what's cool with you. If you know how to farm and you know how to hunt and gather and build and you can self-sustain, cool. Problem with that is the government doesn't like it when you're self-sustaining. They're going to try to find ways to tax your land, to tax you in any way possible, right? You need electricity, you need this, you need that. They're going to find ways to get into you. So how can we beat the system? Just play within the rules. Just play at a high level. My suggestion, always go back to this. Find people that are doing what you want to do and have done it really well. Figure out what they did to do it. You're not going to figure that out in their, hey, I did this way book. You're going to figure that out in the autobiography of them talking through their thoughts while they were doing it. That's when you're going to, you're not going to figure out how to become Donald Trump in Donald Trump's last book as being president. The closest you're going to figure out of how to be Donald Trump is Donald Trump's first book, The Art of the Deal, him talking through his daily procedure. And you're not going to figure out a how to be really good at real estate in that. You're just going to have to dig through it and figure out, what was he thinking? Why did he make that decision? How could I start to think that way and make a decision like that in order to get the result that I want? You got to start thinking that way. You got to go outside the box. You got to start thinking of it as a thought process. How can I incorporate that thought process? But it all comes down to an action. If you're not willing to act, you're going to do nothing. Unless you can teach people around you to act, and then you can delegate and get somewhere that way. But I don't know. Sorry. Long rant. Just very, I had a lot of stuff on my mind as far as propaganda, fear mongering, the whole shutdown, pandemics, war, global crisis, all this stuff. It's happening right now. If you go on Twitter, you're going to see nuclear war, World War III, the end game. That's going to be your trends right now on Twitter. Man, just get away from it. Try to jump away from it. Jump on there, post what you want to post, get out what you need to get out to promote what you need to promote, then get out. Don't dive into it. Study things that are going to make you better. Like, I'm about to go through deep dives on the nihilist philosophy. I'm going to do a little bit of searching on that. I'm reading Alex Hormozy's $100 million offer book. I'm still finishing up Ray Dalio's Principles book. I'm still doing Grant Cardone's Cardone University. Logistics every day. Sales every day. Managing every day. Leading every day. Coaching every day. Like, still doing those things. Still reading up on fitness. Still reading up on health. Still working out. Still staying in shape. Switching to a more longevity-based theory here. Dressing nicer. Trying to make a change there in the way that I'm viewed, right? And I promise you that when you wear a suit, people treat you differently. That's also a thing. That might be a whole episode. We need to bring somebody in that talks about, like, dressing for success or successful dressing or wearing a suit. Like, we need to get somebody in that kind of in that genre as well. Because it's weird. I've had people actually approach me differently wearing this other than wearing just like t-shirts and a shorts. So that could be a whole different topic. Was this episode 98, Ethan?
Yes.
Okay, so we got 99
and then 100.
And then 100. So we're going to do 100 with Chris and Sting and Ethan. And that'll be like our 100th anniversary. We're going to get canceled show. So next week we need to be thinking about what we could talk about. We could do a recap of of everything. Torres won his fight,
Oh yeah.
his professional debut, second round TKO. I told him we need to get him on the show. Might try to get Torres in the studio next Thursday.
Sounds good.
Might try to do that. If I can't make that work, I'm starting to throw some feelers out, using my lead generating software for work and going after people that own businesses that I've seen online. That's how I got the Alex Ramosey's guy email address, and it literally got me to his personal assistant. So I'm gonna start going after people that are doing these podcasts. You know, it's hard to get guys to come on that have a large following because they only want to go to podcasts that also have large followings. And I 100% get that. So I'm trying to tell these guys, you know, remember where you came from. Remember when you didn't have a following. I'm one of those guys still. Like we're still down there where we're trying to grow a following, grow a brand. Remember that you were also in that situation before once upon a time. Help a brother out. Give me 20 minutes on the show, right? I'm not trying to I don't need 3 hours of your time. Let's do a 20-minute, boom, get you on the show, pump you out there. You promote my brand, I promote your brand, help each other out. That's kind of the idea I'm taking to these people to get them on the podcast. We'll see. I know he's a busy guy. We'll see. I've also talked to Ken Shamrock on LinkedIn about getting him on the show as well. But everybody makes me go through their PR people. So I get it. Hey, man, we'll get some people on here that we need to get on here. Other than that, though, you know, live your life. Do your thing. Keep grinding. Keep moving. We'll put out some more card breaks. I put out 2 from the other day. One me and Marcus did, one by myself. We pulled a bunch of Wander Franco's rookie cards. We've got 4 now. Had a bunch of cards that came in the mail that we purchased off eBay. So I did a mail open on one of the episodes. So we opened up our Babe Ruth card. We opened up our Tim Tebow 1/5 card. We opened up Davis Toll card, which I put together Chattanooga collection. We opened up the Pete Alonso Gem Mint 10, LeBron Gem Mint 10. The LeBron was a Gem Mint 9, but it had Steph Curry in the card unmarked. So that's a cool card. It was like 1 of 10 or whatever. So got a bunch of cool cards. The office is almost ready. We've got the walls are up. The stairs are done. The trim is done. The TV's up. Literally all we're waiting on. And next week the carpet comes and the tables are built. All we are waiting on is carpet, tables, doors. And the office is completely built out. And it's crazy to think that just a couple months ago, I was talking about putting it together on Excel, trying to figure out how to make a blueprint. And now here we are, we're coming into March. It's almost done. My projection was day 1 Q2, we'd be like grand opening, ready to roll in the new office. I think that's still a strong prediction. And I think it's pretty likely. COVID hurts you in ordering, in logistics, we know. Doors are still on back order. Carpet should be here next week, like I said. I think carpet goes in, tables get built, doors come in sometime this month, whatever. You don't even really need doors for an office. Who cares? But yeah, I mean, so 12 Point HQ right there off Dayton Pike and Soddy, 12 Point 2.0 is about to roll out as well. So hopefully day 1 Q2 we're ready to roll, but hopefully sometime in March we've got it going. WrestleMania is April 2nd, April 3rd. My plan is hoping that the office is up and running. Everything's good. I'm wanting to have a WrestleMania party one of the nights at the office. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. We'll probably do a grand opening of the office and like our first actual work day where everybody's inside the office, inside that workspace. And we're going to invite anybody in logistics, anybody in transportation, anybody in media in the Chattanooga area to come by, meet with us, visit with us. We're going to try to do like we cater lunch, do that type of thing. And then we'll have to get Ethan out there too, because we're going to need to do a walkthrough of the office as well for the channel. It's going to be sweet. My office is going to have literally a podcast studio built inside the office for Zooms, conference meetings, podcasting, just video and things in general. It's going to be sweet, man. And it's going to be kind of built like a Rogan studio as far as, you know, table, wall, TV, that whole thing. So it'll be sweet. But other than that, subscribe here Rumble, Parler, Truth, Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Do what you need to do. We're everywhere. We're going to hit all channels. And we'll put out some more content as much as we can. Ethan's got a chat with Ethan coming out.
It's going to be a long one.
Okay.
I'm going to have to do, I'm doing research. It's going to be a fully edited video. So
let's go.
It might take me a month, but it's going to be a good one.
Okay. Hey, we need to do some more educational videos like that.
Oh, it's not educational. It's me ranting.
But what I'm saying is, like, we can take a topic and just go in on a topic.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Another thing I think some of you guys might like, let me know if you do, is maybe we can go back to timing segments. So say we're going to hit like 10 topics and we're going to do 5 minutes a topic.
Yeah, we'll just have to plan out the show a little bit better.
We'll just have to plan some things out.
Yeah,
we'll
not a big deal.
Do it a little bit better as far as coming in studio, and then just having some rant sessions as well. I think it's cool too. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. Probably I keep saying I need to start marketing and advertising this channel more, because that's just the way business works, unfortunately. And that's just how you really grow something. I mean, you can be the outlier and just go viral, but honestly, all these channels, and they just pump out ads, and that's how they grow. So we just have to do that. I can do that now. So we'll start doing that as well. So if you start seeing us pop up all over the place, sorry about you. It is what it is. Now we need to have something to sell these people. We need to start selling them something. There needs to be I don't know if it's like a lifestyle brand or a coaching or a planning or a photo session, or we're about to have some avenues. We're going to turn this into a damn enterprise over here. It's going to be Chat with Gunner Enterprise, Chat CWG Enterprise. I don't know. It's going to be something. We're going to figure out a way to monetize this damn thing. I think we made like $2 on YouTube.
I saw that.
So I don't know how. I can't figure out the YouTube algorithm as far as like the monetization to save my life, but that's a thing. So you can make money on YouTube. Now I think they only cut you checks like every $25 you make, or something
like that.
They cut you a check, so it's like every $25 they'll cut you a check.
Yeah.
So got a long ways to go to get our first check, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know,
we've technically made money on YouTube.
We are a profitable YouTube channel. You can consider us YouTubers. If you want to update our Wikipedia pages, we're YouTubers. Okay. That's us. So, hey man, we'll see where the world is next Thursday. So I'll try to get out a card video. I'll try to get out another card rip, and then we'll do another podcast by next Thursday. And then 100 coming up the day before I leave to go to Vegas.
Dear God.
Yeah. So that'll be awesome. All right. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. But if we don't see you because of World War III, this was fun.